So we're down looking into the Chesapeake Bay out over there. You can see those antennas. Those antennas are part of an old U.S. Navy radio station. Those are actually historic antennas, so they didn't tear those down. There used to be much taller ones that they did remove when we went to all satellite communications with the submarines and the Navy forces. Way off in the distance is the Bay Bridge. That's the bridge across the Chesapeake Bay to the eastern shore of Maryland. And over on this side, I'll probably show you this a little later, that over there is the Chart House restaurant, and that used to be the Annapolis Yacht Yard. Now in the Annapolis Yacht Yard, they built PT boats. Yeah, PT boats in World War II, as in like PT 109. That wasn't actually built here, but it's that kind of boat. Most of the boats built here in Annapolis, though, ended up for foreign customers. The British, they called them MTBs, motor torpedo boats. The Russians, RTBs, Russian torpedo boats, and several other countries. I think even Cuba took some of the PT boats that were built here in Annapolis. But a little bit of World War II history. Over there is the U.S. Naval Academy. We can't go in there, it's closed right now, but we'll walk by the entrance. And down this way is Ego Alley. This is where all the boats come in the summertime to show off and demonstrate their boating skills or lack thereof. The state capitol's up there and downtown is down here. Let's walk around and see what we can see. It's cold. It is cold. It's colder today than normal because, well, I'm on the bay and the water comes in off the water. The air comes in off the water. It gets quite chilly. So let's go for a little walk. This is actually a government port. Police, the Maryland police come out here, the Maryland Resources Police, and sometimes even the governor has like a yacht. And the governor, when he's going to do something, will go out there. The governor actually lives just up behind the state capitol, which is up there. So cold. You know what? I'm going to go over here. There's an art gallery over here I really like. There we go. I told you the cops lived here. Now in the summertime, Annapolis is just filled with people out having dinners and lunches and going out boating. It's just a very popular destination. We're about an hour outside of Washington, D.C. You can get here in about an hour. If you're coming to Washington, D.C., this is a great day trip, though you'd probably want to hope that the Naval Academy is open. Woo, look at that wind. Now up here in this harbor square is like a mini mall of local shops, and they have an art gallery that sells maritime stuff. It's probably my favorite art gallery because I love those old fighting ship things. I don't know if I can film in there. I'm going to have to ask them for permission. Sometimes art galleries are hesitant about filming because they think someone's going to see something and copy it, so I don't know. Maybe they're cool. Maybe they don't want it. Oh, the mall's closed, that entrance. Oh, we have to go around the side. Oh, by the way, that's the pedestrian entrance to the Naval Academy, which is currently closed. When it's open, you need to show them ID to get on the base. Not a government ID, just some like a driver's license or something. Though I don't think kids have to do that. Well, they're open. Oh, it's so cold. So this is a Jeff Hunt painting. He's a painter out of England who works on commission now and makes these great fighting ship paintings. And this is about $1,000. And it's a canvas, but it's like printed on a canvas, glitchy. And lots of paintings just of Annapolis city life and of sailing. Wooden ships and iron men. Wasn't that a video game? Oh shoot. There's music playing. I'm going to get nailed for the music. Here's another Jeff Hunt painting. This is a big one. Oh, that's so cool. And they also have ships. The United States. Oh, wow. That's kind of cool. It's a Tim Thompson. Is this a canvas, the battleship? Or
No, everything in there is original.
yeah. But I mean, did he paint on a canvas?
Oh, he paints on board.
That's what I thought. It looked like a board.
No, it's canvas.
Oh, okay. That's an interesting take.
He's a UK painter too.
Hmm.
Known more for his America Cup
Oh, the
paintings than this kind of thing.
oh, oh, that's kind of cool.
That's Patrick O'Brien out of Baltimore.
That name sounds familiar, but it's probably because isn't there an author to Pat O'Brien?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Reading too much. Hey, do you have a business card?
Sure.
Let me put that on camera. You never know.
Yeah. Maybe I'll give you the owners then. He
All
would
right.
appreciate that, I think.
So, guys, this is the Annapolis Marine Art Gallery, and if you come to Annapolis, you got to come here because the stuff here is really cool. All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Stay warm. Well, they were cool. Oh, that's the Academy in 1921. Yeah, so like if you like marine paint, this is like, I've looked all over for like marine paintings, like old fighting ship type paintings, and that's pretty much my go-to place for getting that kind of art. I've got I have a big model of the Nelson's Victory in my house, but I have a few paintings from him, Jeff Hurst. Not the originals though. She was telling me before I had to pause for a second that it's almost impossible to get a Jeff Hunt original because he's got so many commissions. He just can't keep up with the demand. So hey, there's a tour group over there, so I don't want to disrupt the tour group. We'll do our own little tour, yeah? I'm probably going to have to re-record the audio for the shop because they had some music going. Barbecue. So there's a Mission Barbecue, which I guess is a current modern train. I've only had it like once or twice. But I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about this pub over here. All right? All right, guys. So this place, Middleton Tavern, established in 1750. This is where all the big boys used to drink. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, all the Revolutionary founders. 1750. So Tench Tillman was George Washington's aide-de-camp. He came from a long line family, the Tillman family of Maryland, most of whom stayed loyal to the crown, but he fought for the Revolution. Washington turned to Tillman after the defeat of Cornwallis at Yorktown and said, I need you to rush the news to the Congress in Philadelphia that Cornwallis has been taken. So Tillman rushed up the Potomac from Yorktown, Virginia. He came up the Chesapeake Bay, not the Potomac, he came up the Chesapeake Bay, and he took a ferry and arrived here at Middleton Tavern and told all the Revolutionary supporters here in Annapolis that basically Yorktown had fallen and Cornwallis had surrendered. Tillman then rushed across to the eastern shore and Rock Hall and made his way up to Philadelphia in a ride that was written about in poems. Not as famous as Paul Revere's ride, but still a rather famous ride. Now, Tillman lived only a few more years. He died at the age of 41, but descendants of the Tillman family remained active in America for a long time. And the interesting bit about that is a woman known as Sarah Tillman Hughes. Sarah Tillman Hughes was a judge in the North District of Texas in the 1960s. She became famous as the first woman to ever administer an oath of office for the president to Lyndon Johnson on board Air Force One. Sarah Tillman Hughes, a distant connected relation to Tench Tillman, the aide-de-camp to George Washington. And that guy drank in that pub. Strange world. So let's go down past all these shops, yeah? Now, Annapolis was set up in the late 1600s. A lot of the roads have a very colonial feel, very narrow streets. Feels a little bit like England. If you look back on these roads and alleys and shops, and we'll walk through those in a bit. It's pretty quiet today. It's early still. It's about 10 o'clock, 10:30. They've always had some nice local shops. The people that own most of these restaurants, they've actually kind of unified against like chain places coming in. So like when Chipotle came in, well, a lot of the local store owners were like, they'd rather have a local Mexican place or something like a local pub. But they can't fight it all the time. So now I've got Prince on the radio. Everybody's got music blowing out their windows right now. So that'll just mess up YouTube, which means I've got to either talk all over it or just go to the other side of the street. Now, on a Saturday night following a Navy football game when the plebes are all given a little bit of liberty, this place is just filled with midshipmen. Looks like a Navy base. Well, it is a Navy base. All right, there's some more souvenirs. And let's make our way up this side of the street. And we might just have to blot out Prince in 1999, which is playing from the general store on the other side of the street, unfortunately. And the YouTube algorithm, it doesn't matter. I mean, if it hears a few seconds of the song, it just jams you. It's really quite annoying. So I'll have to take that out later, I guess. So if you hear me like voicing over this later, that's why. Ooh, Helly Hansen, which is the big Norwegian sailing gear, maritime gear, and now skiing gear too. I've got a couple of Helly Hansen jackets over my life, and they're like really reliable. What was really cool is I had one. I kept it for like 15, 20 years, and when the Gore-Tex started to fall off, they just replaced the whole jacket for free. They're like, yeah, get a new one. I'm like, cool. 15 bucks. Irish store. Irish wool. Sweaters. State Capitol is just up that street. We're going to go up there a little bit. Hey, you guys want to buy a house? These are going to be really expensive. No? This one's small. $389,000. $400,000. These are tiny little houses. I wanted to find the big ones. That's about $1 million on a creek. A lot of people here only want to buy waterfront because they have boats. They want to be connected to a creek or a river so they can get out into the bay and go sailing. So having river or creek access is pretty huge. This is another souvenir shop. This is a common refrain here in Annapolis. Go Navy, beat Army. I have way too many Navy shirts. I come out to Navy for football games all the time. I used to come out. Let me rephrase that. I used to come out to Navy all the time for football games. Now my life is youth soccer and other stuff. Cool. So once a year, the Blue Angels will come through Annapolis, and they will fly for the graduation ceremony. And then every other year, they'll go out to Andrews for the Andrews Air Force Base open house and participate in that. It is cold, and I got a red light. I think I need to get to the other side of the street and find an alley. They got all the Irish flags up for St. Paddy's Day. Hey, alley. I think we can cut through this alley. Yep. We'll go up over here. And come out here at the state capitol building. So Annapolis, the state capital of Maryland, and also our nation's capital for 1 year, from 1783 to 1784. This served as the nation's capital. This is where, here in Annapolis, is where the Treaty of Paris was ratified by the Congress. And this was also where George Washington resigned his commission as Commander-in-Chief of the military following the end of the Revolutionary War. So, a lot of history in this building. The circle here is really pretty. There's lots of little shops. There's also like lobbyists, like the Maryland Teachers Association is down there, and the Maryland taxi cab drivers or something like that. That's an inn over there. That's like a hotel, like a B&B. You can stay on the circle. Let's go up here. I don't think the building is open today, so I can't really go in because of COVID, of course. We can go see the cannons. Whew. This cannon was brought from England by the first settlers in 1634 and was mounted on the fort of Old St. Mary's. It was found in the St. Mary's River in 1822 and presented to the state in 1840. So this cannon dates back to 1634. Wow, that's pretty old. You can see all the streets radiate out from the Capitol. You should be able to see the bay off in the distance. Maybe I'll get my other camera out. It does better with this mixed lighting. I'll go over to Maryland Avenue. Oh yeah, the governor lives over here. It's cold. There's actually two colleges here. Of course, there's the Naval Academy, the U.S. Naval Academy in Annapolis, but there's another school, St. John's College, I think, which is, if I recall, it's a small liberal arts school, and they have like one course of study, Great Thoughts or something like that, Great Works of American Thought or Western Thought, or thought in general. That's Maryland Avenue. We're going to walk down that in a second after we loop over here. Someone told me that at St. John's you read like 600 books over the course of your 4 years of study. And you study the idea of thinking and thought. And I also read that St. John's has more students go on to get their PhD than just about any other school in the country. I thought the number was like 75% of graduates from that school go on to get their PhD, which is pretty crazy. So this house over here is Maryland House. This is the governor's mansion, but I guess he's around. It's very cold. I'm surprised how cold it was. It's much colder than it was in DC even. I just left DC like an hour ago, and of course they didn't have this wind. Wind is whipping. I almost didn't wear a coat when I left DC. I was like, I don't need a coat. That's the governor's place, Governor Hogan. Governor Hogan is not a fan of Donald Trump. He's a Republican, but he voted for Ronald Reagan. He wrote in Ronald Reagan. There's the other thing I wanted to see. This is the Thurogood Marshall statue. Thurogood Marshall was a lawyer in Maryland before moving on to work for the Supreme Court. And let's see. Yep, here it is. Antonio Tobias Mendez. Now, I told you guys the other day, his father is Tony Mendez, who worked at the CIA. And he was the guy who got the Iranian people, the Iranian hostages, out of the Canadian embassy. His son is a sculptor. And he made this statue.
All schools, all minorities.
So I thought the statue was actually down there. But it is actually, I think he's actually known as Toby Mendez. His father was Tony, and the sculptor's son is Toby. I guess maybe his official name isn't, Tobias. Antonio Tobias Mendez. So he goes by Toby. And look at that. For my father, always there in the 11th hour. That's an interesting etching there. So Tony Mendez, the hero of the Canadian caper from the CIA, his son went on to be an artist and sculpted this and many other sculptures in Maryland and around the country, including like statues at Fenway Park. The guys I showed you at the Navy Memorial in Washington, D.C., he did some of the reliefs. So Toby Mendez, son of Tony Mendez. Now, if you still don't know who Tony Mendez is, go watch Argo. Ben Affleck played Tony Mendez in the movie Argo. So, a little bit of CIA history here in Annapolis. Okie dokie, which way am I going to go? I'm going to go halfway down this street, then I'm going to cut up to St. John's, and then we're going to cut back. Some of these houses are just beautiful back here. This has some interesting, these. And we'll go down to Maryland Avenue over here. This is Statehouse Circle. You guys are always asking me to call out street names so you guys can figure it out. Statehouse Circle, we're going to go over to Maryland Avenue, which is a secondary entrance into the Naval Academy, should the Naval Academy be open when you come to visit. It's also the Maryland Avenue runs into the Navy Museum, which is on the base. Naval Academy's museum is great. You know, I have some old footage I might have to snip into this video at the end because I did a video on the Naval Academy last summer, or 2 summers ago. I just never released it. Oh, where is what I was going to go see? Oh, I missed that house. Paca House, number 38. It's down around here. That's on Prince George's Street. Nice house. Okay. There's 2 houses down the street. This is still a cobblestone street. This street has been hit very, very hard by the lack of tourists in Annapolis. There are a lot of good Irish pubs here. There's the Galway bar over here. There's the Ram's Head, which isn't really an Irish pub. It's more of a live music pub. The Irish community is pretty strong. Oh, it's cold. Oh, more ships. I love model ships. USS Constellation. I don't know if you guys can see that because of the glare. The HMS Bounty. So let's go down this street a bit, then we'll loop around. Now this guy always has really good prints too, this artist too. There's lots of Annapolis. Winter in Annapolis, I can't really see that unfortunately. Be nice or go away. Navy Notre Dame. Oh, that's an interesting. There it is. I put my hand in front of it. You can see it that way. Navy Notre Dame. Oh, the flag. Let me see if I can put the This one's too much glare. Sorry about that. On this site in 1897, nothing happened. At least they're honest about it. Okay, where are we at? Maryland and Prince George's Street. Point out one other thing. If you look at the number there on the sign, I don't know if I can zoom in on it. Prince George's Street, 1700. Maryland Avenue, 1717. What you're looking at are not the street number signs, but the day that this road was laid down. This road was laid down in the 1700s. Annapolis is one of our oldest cities in America. Not the oldest, of course, but one of the older ones. And there's still some colonial houses. We'll go see a couple of those in a minute. Oh. It is chilly. So up there is St. John's College. Their students there are nicknamed the Johnnies. They don't really have any sports team except for one. Well, they have other sports, but the big rivalry, the big sporting event that gets all the Johnnies out of their dorm and onto this quad is croquet. You see, the Johnnies and the Naval Academy have a croquet match every year. It's a big deal. So the students practice croquet, and they play a game of lawn croquet, St. John's versus the Naval Academy. And it's funny because the Naval Academy midshipmen, they show up all in their dressed whites, properly attired for a game of croquet, and the Johnnies, they just wear whatever they were wearing to bed last night. They just roll out of bed and play croquet that way. Pass and Story, Philadelphia. Dedicated to a free citizen. This is a reproduction of the Liberty Bell given to the people of Maryland in 1950, and it's here on the campus of St. John's. Let's go see what this statue is. (1920). For civilization, liberty, and country. I believe this is a war list. Yep. St. John's, Annapolis, and this is most likely those who passed in World War I. There is a very large war list, as you can imagine, inside the Naval Academy. Sadly, it's consistently updated because there are still graduates of Annapolis who pass away in battle. But it is inside Dahlgren Hall, the big dormitory, and we can't see it today, but it's there. If you do go out to Annapolis, not Dahlgren, why am I saying Dahlgren Hall? Bancroft Hall. Ugh. Dahlgren Hall's the ice skating rink. I used to go there for hockey. Bancroft Hall, which is the dormitory. That is the dorm. And you can go in there and see that list, and also see the big ballroom where the Annapolis Peace Conference was held when the U.S. tried to broker peace in the Middle East again. And it's also where the midshipmen, now it used to be where the midshipmen would get their assignments. Now they do it in a more NFL-style draft. This is the Naval Academy Alumni Association. So ship selection night at the Naval Academy is kind of like the NFL draft. The mids come down to select what ship they're going to serve on, what port they're going to be based out of. So if they want to be on a carrier, do they want to be on a destroyer? Do they want to be on a cruiser? They want to be, stationed somewhere else. They want to go to, say, Florida, or they want to go to Japan or Italy. And it's a big event for the midshipmen. Oh, off in the distance, we can see the chapel, the Naval Academy chapel. It's being renovated right now. The dome is going to look very shiny and coppery. Let's see, we're on King George's Street. kind of a main drag. This was 1714, and that road we just left was College Avenue. So if you're following on Google Maps, you guys can see where we are. Here we go. So I wanted to show you something over here on Maryland Avenue, more recent history, more Hollywood, perhaps. Oops, sorry about that. Putting my glove back on. King George Street and Maryland Avenue. So, I know a lot of you have probably read Tom Clancy novels, yeah? And in one of the Tom Clancy novels, it was turned into a film, Patriot Games. The hero of the Tom Clancy novels is Jack Ryan, a professor at the Naval Academy who does side jobs for the Central Intelligence Agency. In the movie Patriot Games, there is a scene where Harrison Ford, Jack Ryan, comes out of the Maryland Avenue gate. He sees a Jeep with a woman with red hair and then continues his walk down to his car when he notices someone is following him. He jumps out, fights the guy off. The guy has a gun. He's trying to kill him. And just as the bad guy is about to shoot him, the Marine sentries over at the gate, they shoot the bad guy. Anyway, that was filmed right here on Maryland Avenue. So if you guys got Patriot Games on Netflix or YouTube, or just Google like the assassination of Jack Ryan or something from Patriot Games, you'll see that street that we just looked at. And they were filming the movie here. I actually was here at the Academy on some unrelated business when they were filming the movie. I remember seeing Harrison Ford walking across the grounds with a guy who looked exactly like him. It was his double. And they were preparing to film. I guess it was that scene, to be honest. And they had lots of midshipmen running around chanting and, yelling and stuff like that, because it was like normally the mids are pretty quiet going between classes, but they had them doing a cadence. It's kind of funny. That's not it. It's down a little bit farther, this next house. It's cold. I keep moaning about the cold, don't I? Oh, come on. Did I miss it? I did miss it. All right, so I got to cut over. I'm on the wrong street for this next house. I wonder if this alley goes through. Nope, that's a driveway. Let's cut over. Oh, actually, this is the gardens. Yeah, this is where I want to, kind of where I want to be. I knew there was a big house. I didn't know what sense. Oh, so that over there, let's see if we can get those. That's known as Captain's Row, and that's where some of the teachers at the Naval Academy, who are also military officers, that's where they live. So Captain's Row at the Academy is where the military professors live. Now over here, this is the house I wanted to show you, the house and gardens. This is known as the William Paca House. And this guy was a signer of the Declaration of Independence. I think there was 4 Maryland residents who signed the Declaration of Independence. Or, no, there's 4 that signed the Constitution. Anyway, William Paca lived here. This house was built about 1760. It's actually like 5 different houses and a big garden. It's open for tours in better times. But if you want to see an example of a really old house, you can come over here. We'll go around the other side, because there's another house down there too. Now down there is the main entrance to the Naval Academy. In the old days, there were all these different gates that were open. But as security got tighter and tighter, these different gates all got shut down permanently. Kind of a shame. My friend who went to the Naval Academy a long time ago used to tell me about, you know, they knew which gates were unguarded or lightly guarded so that if they were out late one night, they could sneak back in. Yeah, here we go. The William Paca Garden, 186 Prince George's Street. All these streets are just like... It's an old fire station down here. This area of Annapolis doesn't, you know, has an old European feel. All the streets, tiny, not like the standard American grid system. Alleys and curves and whatnot. Oh, I'm caught up again with a colonial tour guide. I've seen her a couple times today. Here's the house. It looks like it's being renovated. It's like 5 different pieces of the house put together into one big house. Oh, this is the Bryce house.
One part of slavery is
The James Bryce house, 1774. And we'll cut down this street. The woman, there are a lot of colonial walking tours in Annapolis to show you, things like historic architecture, or to talk about things like, well, she's talking about slavery, because Annapolis used to be a major slave port. A lot of slaves landed for the first time here in Annapolis, including one that you might have heard of. And we're going to go over and see that area next. Where's this alley go? Yeah, we'll cut through this one. And for those who can remember where we are, we're now at Market Space Street, right back by the Middleton Tavern, where I told you the story of George Washington's aide-de-camp. This is the market house. They've tried many times to turn this into a food court with varying levels of success. It works for a while, then it gets bad, and then it floods. So I'm not really sure how much. There's a coffee shop here now. There used to be like 5 or 6 different restaurants, but now it looks like it's been converted into just 1 or 2. Now, Annapolis, this area of Annapolis floods in hurricanes and sometimes in other high water. They're actually working on a plan to elevate a lot of this. I guess it is still a food court. What's inside? Let's take a look. Yeah. Ooh, it's a coffee shop. No, it's just one place now. Oh, come on this way. I can't cross here. So all those young college kids that you saw all had college clothes for St. Mary's College. St. Mary's, or is it St. Mary's University? I think it's a college. That's a Southern Maryland's private school. And they're probably up here for some competition, rowing perhaps. This is the statue I wanted to show you. So over here is a memorial to Alex Haley, the author of Roots. And this is known as the Kunta Kinte Memorial. You see, Kunta Kinte, Alex Haley's relative, or whatever, is believed to have landed here in Annapolis. And here is Alex Haley, the author, telling the story of his family to another generation of children. Oh, look at these ducks. These guys think I got food. I'm sorry, guys. I don't. Oh, they're eating out of this woman's hand. Ducks. Ducks are cool. All right, so that was an interesting little hike. So we're going to jump back in the car. We're going to make our way out of Annapolis. We might grab a roast beef sandwich on the way. And I'm going to spin back to Washington, D.C. I got a couple things I wanted to show you clear up in Washington, D.C. And then we can get this video up online. Okay, let's sign off for now. Or you want me to go back to the water? Nah, we'll sign off. Okay.